Recording preparation.
Here's an example of how the microphone is going to plug into your audio interface. It uses a cable, generally an XLR cable. In my case, it's running across the floor here with all the other cables, and it plugs in to the audio interface, which is then also plugged into the computer. Now the microphones use XLR inputs, like this one, and they're going to plug in to each of these spots right here. If you're doing pre-mixing or pre-processing with a mixer like this, the XLR input is going to attach up here at the top. Now, a lot of mixers, depending on what make they are, could have these inputs on the back or on the front. It really just depends on the company that's made the mixer. Now, your overhead mics, which are generally condenser mics, are going to need phantom power to run, unlike the dynamic mics. In my case, these buttons over here on the left control phantom power. That one controls the first 4 inputs on that audio interface. On a mixer like this, the phantom power is over on the right, but again, depending on the make, it could be in any position. I don't have it turned, the mixer plugged in right now, but if I did, you punch that button and it would give phantom power to all the inputs that you've put in, just like we put the XLR input at the top earlier. Now we want to set our gain. This is really important because we don't want the drums to clip and for the sound to distort. Clipping can be defined as the signal input being so strong that the power supply cannot handle it, and it therefore distorts your sound waves. We want to set the gain as high as possible without the sound clipping. Now the knob here is going to be associated with input 1, knob here, input 2, and so forth. To set the gain, you simply twist the knob left and right, and that is important. We do not want this red light to come on because that means that your sound wave is clipping. Now on a mixer, to set the gain, you'll want to twist these knobs up here. Over here, you're going to want to make sure that this does not go into the red, that it gets close but does not go into the red, and then your gain settings will have been set correctly. Assuming you already have your audio interface plugged into your computer via FireWire or USB, in this case it's FireWire, we're going to open up Cubase LE, which is an example of an audio program you can use. Here I've got a preset open that has all 11 mics according to their inputs that the mics are plugged into on the interface. Now what we're going to need to do is go and arm each one of these tracks, and I've individually labeled them. Once we arm them for record, like you can do in most of these audio programs, we'll be able to come down here to record, and we hit, and it has begun recording through the mics. Now I'm not playing anything right now, but if I was, then you'd be seeing the sound waves. And now that we've set up the connections, it's time to record the drums.